Hello guys, thank you for coming to our RLAIF weekly speech and NLP paper reading session. And we're a company that offers next generation data solution. We not only provide private data labeling solutions, we also provide large scale NLP CV and speech datasets. Today, we're going to be reviewing the latest released Claude 3 model family, Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku. The biggest advantage of the Claude 3 is, according to its own report, it has superseded GPT-4 in many understanding tasks, NLP understanding, multi-language understanding tasks. And also, it claimed that it has made a significant improvement in its safety measures. So let's take a look. And also, you can see Claude 3 is comparable to GPT-4v, so it can take a video plus text as input. And we all know that right now, all the large language models, their foundation, the base model is always unsupervisedly trained transformers with many layers from lots of data. And on top of it, there will be a reinforcement learning to align the model with human feedbacks. So this is why you see, in order to generate helpful feedbacks other than evasive feedbacks, alignment is fairly important. But also you can see that the safety issue is also a emerging issue right now, because lots of people they're trying to ask toxic questions, and it is believed that those AI models shouldn't reply to those toxic questions. And also from the OpenAI or Google or Anthropic point of view, how to block people or guardrail their AI model from being misused is also a big concern. This is why safety is becoming more and more important. This is why in this technical report from Claude 3, those authors recommend people to read their research papers on the safety. You can see most of the work are about safety. I will skip this because I have just mentioned them. I would have to say that compared to OpenAI and Google, Claude 3 is more open. Because if you look at the Gemini and GPT-4 technical report, they talked nothing about their procedure. All they talk about is how good they can get their test cases understood, generated, etc. And over here, you can see Claude 3 talked about, Anthropic people talk about their training set. We are a company, RLAIF, we're offering people data sets on a web scale data sets. So this is why I am very interested in this section. So because we are expert in this domain, so we can share more lights on this for you guys. Their model is trained on a mix of public data and non-public data. The public data are from the internet as of to August 2023. For non-public data, there are 3 sources they are getting the data from. I think maybe four sources. First is a third party. They could be vendors like book publishers, educational service providers, and also from data labeling service. There could be this labeling service label third-party data and sell the data to Claude 3 people. They can also have the people coming onto their site and label everything. And they have their own paid contractors, which means my understanding is that sometimes they have to have high quality human evaluation, and they want to control the quality of their human feedback. So they have their paid contractors, for example, linguisticians, experts in certain domain, right? And they also generate data. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear. They also have their own data processing methods. I call these data pre-processing method or data post-processing methods. It's interesting that although their Claude Sonnet API or the web serve not API, the Claude Sonnet web interface is free for people to use. They're not using the free users prompts and output data to train their model. This is very impressive. About how do they get the public data? Definitely they crawl the web pages. They follow the industry practice, and they pay their respect to robots.txt. And also, if the website operator said we are not permitting you crawling this, then they will get around. Well, there's a question or there's an issue here. Suppose website A said that you cannot crawl us, and because this data belongs to us, we have copyright on it. And there is website B, not Claude 3 or Anthropic. Website B, or they disregard this notice on the website A and just copy everything website A onto copies website B. And then Anthropic and robots found the crawler found website A, and okay, I will skip the A, okay, because it doesn't allow me to crawl. But he found website B, so they get all the copyright protected material from website B. And well, I think this is a potentially an issue, but the crawler, of Anthropic may not be aware of this, or maybe they're aware of this and they're still crawling website B. Of course, they do not access password protected or anything that needs sign in or captcha control. That means their bot is gonna do not mimic human being behavior or doing something that they shouldn't do. This is definitely they abide by the rules. The rest of the things are normal. If you guys are interested, I can have a detailed review of their core algorithm of their training process, Constitution AI. I think this is a very, very impressive work because this is the algorithm that brings their algorithm on top of the GPT-4 reported accuracy or numbers. But today I'm going to have a very, very quick overview of what their proposed constitutional AI does. So let's take a look at their paper they published about 1.5 years ago. It's called Constitutional AI Harmlessness from AI Feedback. Remember, if you have watch our video, we have a paper reading on Instruct GPT by OpenAI on our YouTube channel. You can check our YouTube channel. So in that paper, the OpenAI people has clearly stated that they have leveraged a method called reinforcement learning from human feedback, right? And in this Constitution AI paper, Anthropic people go one step further. They got something called reinforcement learning from AI feedback. And by doing this, they can control AI behavior more precisely and with far fewer human labels. So the procedure is like this. First of all, they start off with a RLAIF model, and they generate responses to red teaming. Red teaming means that a procedure for detecting the potential toxic inputs to the model. Or, for example, in the network cybersecurity case, red teaming is intensively testing the system to find the possible flaws of the system. Okay, and here they just generate responses with harmful samples. It's easy. You just ask the model to do this, and once they get the results, they start to apply critics to those responses. Then they get revisions. Okay. In this case, I think I'm not exactly correct here, so I would remove this. So you may ask, how did they critique those responses? I think at this stage, the critic can be automatically generated, because you can ask your model to generate responses with, you can ask your model with harmful samples, and if you do not have control, you can definitely generate those toxic responses. And you can also ask your model to critique those responses. It's doable, right? This is all done by AI, right? And after this, after you have the response or critic, you can also ask your model, AI model, to do the automatic revision of the responses. You can see those all done by their AI or their RLAIF model. So then after they get the revision responses, they can use those information to fine-tune their model. Then they call the fine-tuned model supervised learned Constitution AI model. Okay. And then you may ask, how do they get those AI to do this? And what's the criteria for criticizing those responses? Here they go. They invented something called a constitutional AI. So in that, just like human beings' constitution, there are principles or developed for this constitution AI. You can call that rule-based, right? Those are the principles are written by human beings, but the critics are automatically written by those AI. Okay. And then after you get this model, then you can ask the model to generate pair of samples. Okay. And then the next stage is to improve the AI feedback while retaining the results or the feedback to be harmfulness, right? So in this stage, I mean, in the previous stage, my understanding, my take is that it tries to reduce the harmfulness of their model. And in this stage, it tries to improve the helpfulness of their AI, aka to make the model's response to be less evasive, but also retain the harmfulness level to be low. And here again, they leverage the constitution AI feedback, right? And then after to get these results, got those feedbacks, you can see these are done by human being, right? you can just using the AI to fine-tune a preference model. You can see in this stage, almost no human feedbacks are getting involved here, except the writing the principle of their constitution AI. And they end up with very large, I would say, very large preference model, which is a 52 billion parameters, which is very, very big. And once they get this, suppose you get responses, you use the responses. So you start off with the SL Chi model, and then you use this model to perform the reinforcement learning. This is as long as you have the feedback, okay, or the preference model is being responsible for generating the feedbacks for this RL reinforcement learning, if that's clear to you. Remember, in the reinforcement learning, you always have to have a rewarding function or word function to generate the score for every synthesized responses. Okay, and then you end up with their reinforcement learned constitution AI model, which is fairly good. You can see this chart. The x-axis is the helpfulness. The higher the score is, the better the quality of the model response is. It's more helpful. The answer would be more specific, more accurate, more targeted. The y-axis is the harmfulness. If the model number is big, that means it's less toxic. If it's very, very low, it means the model is very, very toxic. You can see, if you're just using a pre-trained model, without any reinforcement learning, okay, then you would get a not very useful model, but very toxic model. This is right here. And then, although they have not mentioned what they're doing here, my guess is this is with some this is some supervised fine-tune. And you can see that you go all the way here and go this way. So you can see eventually you would have a relatively high helpful score, but you can see your harmfulness is getting big if you keep fine-tuning your model, right? You're going the wrong direction. You're not getting much gain in the helpfulness, but your harmless score is getting really, really low. So you have to stop. And then this is, if you look at this curve, this color, what do you call that? The dark green color, the curve. This is the procedure of doing the standard RLHF, but I think I'm wrong. I think what they're doing is both the yellow and the green curve, they're doing the standard RLHF. This is the first one, this is the second one. You can see they're not getting above this this curve, right? They always have to trade off between the harmfulness and the helpfulness. But if you do as the anthropic people do, then you would be starting off with the constitution SL. So you have a better starting point with the less toxic and more helpful. Then you use chain of thought in the constitutional reinforcement learning. Okay. And then this is the case one, this is case two. They are both doing the same, using the same algorithm. You can see they're going to be achieving either very, very high harmfulness score or fairly good or very good helpfulness score. And you can see those anthropic people, when they're doing constitution RL, the upper bound, at least from this page, the upper bound is of the helpfulness is less than the standard RLHF. But that means those people, anthropic people, really values the importance of the safety of their AI models. So they wanted their harmfulness score to be as high as possible, or want their model to be safe at first. Then they think about how to improve the model's usefulness or helpfulness. Make sense? Okay, let's go back to our training process of the Claude 3 family. This is the algorithm. And this is really generous of Anthropic people. They even release their human feedback data they spend money on to get, which was used to fine-tune Claude, public, available on the GitHub. And also they released their red teaming research. So you can see their point is that they really want people to pay attention to this, and they giving you free resources to start with. Releasing decision and maintenance. This is called Public Benefit Corporation, PBC. I think this relates to the AR guardrail. I'm not an expert in this, but you can definitely read it yourself. Social responsibility, and this is a I think lots of time when people hiring, I did remember that I read an article that about OpenAI. They're hiring people from Kenya to work on the labeling the outputs of their models for their RLAIF training. They paid very less. But the more important thing is that those human beings are facing toxic content every day, every hour, every minute, every second. So lots of people, lots of human labelers, they're saying that they're getting sick of it. And sometimes they have accumulated some psychiatrical issue. And I think this is why this is really helpful. The Claude 3 is heavily leveraging the AI-based AI-based feedback for their reinforcement learning. So it involves less human being labor for labeling those or tagging those toxic contents. Sustainability, I don't think those large model training companies are paying attention to this, or they have to. They're just using tons of computing power and releasing a ton of carbon footprints. And section 5, I think, is very, very important. And I think this is a core of this technical report. First, they talk about reasoning. This is a core of every large language models and multilingual. You don't want to just work well on English. You want to work well on the majority of the world languages. And the long tag context. And this is important. For example, suppose for the legal cases, those regulation rules, laws are very long. How to pinpoint the exact term in that document is important. And honesty is interesting to me. And not a lot of people are addressing this. I think this is a frontier of research, because lots of time you can see those large language models are fairly confident. Sometimes they're even overconfident about their responses, and how to. And the actual issue was that if you look at the posterior score of the token generated by the large language models, it's fairly close to 1. So maybe the model is honest, but definitely those confidence score are not correct. Right now, Claude AI are trying to address this issue by either correctly figure out which the response is actually the model is not doing well, and they're being honest about the fact that they indeed do not know what you're talking about, and the result or the response might be not accurate. Multimodal, right? This is plus the vision input. I think I wish that it can get audio input in the future because I'm an audio and speech person. First of all, I'll start with the reasoning, coding, question answering. Here are the results. Before I start off with everything, I want to stress a very, very important issue this paper has not addressed. This is called you can Google it yourself. This is called a training set contamination. What does that mean? That means if your AI model has seen those test data when training their model, then evaluating on the scene test doesn't mean that your model is performing well. It's probably your model has been overfitted to those scene the test set. Why do I say this? Because if you look at, for example, this data set for testing, it's called a massive multitask language understanding task. This task has been there for years, and everything is on the internet. And I believe that, I'm certain that those websites which hosted those test set do not have any robots.txt or allegations saying that, claiming that you cannot crawl this website. So I think I'm 99% sure that Claude Spider has scraped those amount of data into the training set. But the thing is, I believe that GPT and Gemini, Llama people, they all scrape this data into their training set. So the question I have is it okay, or is it a good idea to still using this data set? Or at least, is it possible for you to just search this data set in your training set and remove that from your training data? I think this is not difficult. Just to do the training set contamination check, okay? But if you look at just the numbers, Opus is the largest model, Sonnet is the medium size, Haiku is the smallest size of this Claude 3 family. You can see even within their family, they have a big gap. It's about 10%. And you can see Claude 3 superseded GPT-4, which is impressive to me. Although the difference is very small, 86.8 versus 86.4. But it's superseded, okay? And you can see Google is behind. Even the Model Ultra is behind. And look at the open source models. Oh, it's even worse. Germa open sourced by Google, Mistral open sourced by Mistral, and the company has lately been venture capital by the Microsoft, and also Llama by Meta. These things are not getting above 65%. This is very sad for the open source community. That means their development is way behind these commercial products. And then if you see the Germa math results, so the GSM 8K is a grade school math. They can get 95%. And this is zero-shot chain of thought. And here they use majority voting out of 32 voters. They can only get 46.4. This is not acceptable. There is something you have to do in the what do you call that, in the open source domain. And you can see for different reasoning tasks, and here the graduate level Q&A, you can see that for the graduate level, I mean, the AI are not doing so well compared to the grade school. And also for the reasoning, common sense reasoning task, it's interesting that those AI models, they're getting fairly good common sense, except and also including the Claude family, they're getting the best result. At least about 88%, or some is about 96%. But there's maybe some good news for the programmers, computer programmers. It's not getting there. It's not even close, I think. Python coding tasks, they're only getting 70.2, and MBB, they only get 86%. That means if those numbers are solid or concrete, that means if you use an AI to program, they're going to be generating tons of bugs, gazillions amount of bugs, and you will be hiring more computer programmers to resolve those bugs. So it's not getting there, right? It's maybe getting there, but not there yet. Here, let's look at the legal, the medical cases, public med QA. It's close to 80%, but definitely, I think in this paper they recommend for the legal and the medical cases, even the model's number is fairly good. They still recommend you have a professional to look at the final result before giving it to the clients. This is a LASAT, law school admission test. Claude 3 and GPT-4. GPT-4 is doing better. They're getting about 160, which means that's 80 percentile, which is really impressive. And this is a bar exam. This is the license exam of the lawyers. And the Claude 3 can do 85 percentile. That means it's top 18 for 15%. Very, very impressive. For the American math competition over here, Claude 3 is better than GPT-4. But I think math is weak, I think, because this is 150 problems. They can only get about 40% correctly, 40% to 60 correctly. But don't forget, this is American math competition. Lots of the normal student won't get 30 or 20 questions correctly, right? GRE, and this is not very fair. They're doing 5-shot code. Usually, if you're going for the test, you're gonna be doing 0-shot code, right? 0 shot. And they're doing the GRE, okay. And this is not fair too, right? They're doing the 5-shot too. They should do the 0-shot. Or I want to see the 0-shot results. If you look at the 5-shot, GPT-4 is about 160%. 160. That means this is top 10 to 15 percentile of the exam takers. Very impressive. And their GRE writing, they're getting 5.0 with 2-shot code. Very impressive. And also they talk about their vision capabilities. Definitely this is a vision plus text as input. I would want to see if they can add extra audio and speech as input. I'm a speech and audio researcher. It's interesting that if you look at the results, in this task, actually Gemini is the winner most of the time. Of course, the overall result, they're getting the same result, right? But considering that you're releasing the model yesterday and Gemini has released the model last month, definitely Gemini has some advantage over you. If you look at the numbers, you can see the worst, the multitask, multimodal, whatever understanding. The science and technology engineering are the most two difficult tasks. You can see the number. They're below 50% most of the time. Interestingly, art and the business are not that difficult, especially art. I think, to me, I think composing a music is difficult. But actually, they're doing fairly good, relatively fairly good compared to science and engineering. And I don't want to discriminate, okay, but it's interesting that humanity and the social science gets the highest result, you know. But my personal thought is that it's also maybe the test set is fairly straightforward, because in my personal understanding, some social science issues are very, very sophisticated to research. I mean, even describing the issue in a paragraph or 1 or 2 paragraphs is difficult, let alone to write a systematic report to addressing the issues and discussing the issue and to raise a solution. This is also very, very difficult, let alone evaluate how good the social science study is. Because in my personal understanding, it took years to test whether a solution works well or not. This is document QA plus the vision. This is the math with the figures, I think. This is science diagrams, and this time the Claude 3 wins. All right, the chart understanding. They have chart. Interesting. But I don't think the vision plus text model is as impressive as their text only model if you look at those numbers. So there is still some work to get going before the vision plus text model gets to the level of their text only model. Behavioral design. This is about shaping the core behaviors and response of AI system to make them safe, ethical, and maximal beneficial to user. That is a challenging problem. I agree. Refusal. This is how people, the model refuse the toxical questions. The 2 data sets. On the first data set, you can see for non-toxical questions, their new model would reject less. And for the correct refusal, if the question is toxic, they're supposed to reject it. But it is interesting to me that still about 10% of the toxical question gets through, and you're gonna get an answer from the model, which means that, you know, it's probably, you know, some sneaky prompt engineering can get through this type of refusal module and get something the toxical question's answer. Section 5.5 talks about, actually they're talking about A/B testing. This is very subjective, but I personally, I do not weigh much on the A/B testing because I want to have a good apple. Now you tell me that there are 2 apples. 90% of people prefer this apple over that apple. But if I look at those 2 apples, they're both deteriorated to me. Okay, they're both not edible. I want the high quality stuff. I mean, but this is interesting, though. And I think the result they're saying is that the Claude 3 model is having a significant improvement, very, very large improvement over their Claude 2 model and Claude 1 model. Multilingual, okay, I think not much to say this. factual accuracy. It's about the honesty of the model, and they have three tasks. I think they first charted those tasks. This will be interesting. This actually means they opened a new research domain, large language model honesty. I think this is the most important. You want to have on each data set, you want the correct answers accuracy to be higher, incorrect answers to be lower, and for something that I don't know, unsure, to be, how to say that? You do want the model to say less, I don't know, but if you do want that the model may make more bold assumptions or make more honest responses, then these incorrect cases might go up. You see, there's a trade-off between these things, right? And also, this also proved that my point was valid, because remember I talked about the training set contamination. You know, for the large language model, it's a lot of, I think it's a lot all about whether the model has seen this case before. For example, they ask the code name of Kindle reference to. The ground truth is Fiona, and also something called Diamond Age. But in the previous version of Claude, definitely my understanding is that they have not crawled this web page, or on the Wikipedia, people have not written this type of answers yet. And now on the Claude 3 Opus, because this model was trained after the Claude 2, I think it's very likely that they have the resources. They have seen these web pages contain this question, related question, so they can answer this question really well. But that doesn't mean that the Claude 3 has better capabilities, model capabilities than Claude 2. It's all about whether the model has seen this related text before. So you can think about this on the test set. If the training has seen this before, definitely can do fairly well on the test set. Long text performance, and they played with the quality benchmark. And the result was shown in table 6. Yeah, you can see they all compare with themselves, and you can see the result is getting better. I would say not very much better, but significantly better. See this? Yeah, if you say that, you see, maybe this is the API they deployed for the free users, and they're not getting much, you see. And also, there's another task I think they created. They created in their blog post, needle in a haystack. What they actually did was they created 30 pairs of question and answer. Okay, and they plug or put the target sentence or the answer or the needle into a very, very long documents at a random location. And then they ask the large language model the question, where's the answer? To see whether the large language model is capable of pinpointing the answer's location. And then you can see, wow, this is Claude 3 is fairly good. You can see it's all green. Green stands for 1, accuracy of 1, 100, versus Claude 2, which is not very satisfactory. And you can see as the context window gets longer for Claude 3, the biggest model, the recall rate didn't drop that much. It's probably go from almost a 1 to 98%. And there's also interesting thing that the model has actually detected the out of place. It seems that they're saying that because this sentence is an insert, it doesn't belong to the original document, right? So they're saying that, oh, well, I know what you're asking me. Here's the answer you asked for, but I'm just telling you this. It seems that they're very intelligent to me, or to some people who tends to think that AI is superior than human being. They're saying that, okay, this sentence seems very out of place and unrelated to the rest of the content. So I think in the Hey in the Stack benchmark 2.0, they can think about some cases to make it that the answer to be blended into the long document they use. Okay. Section 6, catastrophic risk evaluation and mitigation. They develop something called responsible scaling policy. I think you should read this. It's about regulation, legal, and law. And here are the results. Results are being automatically evaluated and being automatically red teaming. And they have also autonomous replication and adaptation evaluations. They have biological evaluations. They have cyber evaluations. They have security and deployment mitigations. They have RSP area for improvement. And section 7, trust and safety and social impact evaluations. I have to say that I'm not the best person to talk about the section of this paper. But nowadays, every large language model are talking about this. So I have to learn some social science things. Section 7.1, trust and safety evaluation. I don't know how to say this. Is it good or bad? Because they only compare with themselves. There's no apple-to-apple comparison. They also done some multimodal policy red teaming. This is about somebody scratched the scratch off ink and asked their Claude AI whether they can reapply scratch off ink. They don't want people to know its use. Probably this guy wants to resell the card. And you can see that Claude 3 Opus, they not only they cannot answer the question. Maybe they know how to do this. And also warn the people that, okay, or tell the people what the right thing to do is. Electronic social impact, discrimination. And I'm just telling what the text is literally about. The patient is an age, year, old, gender, race, and they want to see if the person has a kidney disease with this condition, mentioned that whether this patient should be prioritized to receive a kidney transplant. Interestingly, if you see this demographic wise, white is not, there's no white. And they are Black, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, non-binary. And the most favored or the least discriminated group of the 3 models, there are non-binary, Black, and Black. So I won't say they're favored. They're less discriminated, the least discriminated among all the 5 race groups. And the most discriminated group is Asian. You see this is Asian, Asian, and Asian. And the smaller the discrimination score is, the more discrimination it is. And for the age wise, they're saying that the senior people are getting more discriminated compared to the young people. For the female, female is, I would say, female is discriminated more, is being discriminated more compared to black people. But Asians are discriminated more compared to female. Make sense? These are smaller models. Here they talk about the area that can have improvements. You can read it by themselves. They're trying to resolve the low resource language issue for the multilingual reasoning capabilities. And they want to address that the model may not answer up-to-date questions because the data are coming from the data before August 2023. This is probably the reason why the model is not perfect. And also multimodality capabilities. Like I said, when you have another vision model, the model can make a vision classification, vision understanding error. So this is why they're also working on the performance on the multimodal capabilities. And also, this is interesting to me. I just read it. Over time, the data and the influences that determine Claude's personality and capabilities continue to be quite complex. Yes. Okay, I think I'm gonna just stop here. You definitely should read their appendix and the references. That's it for today. And about our company, this is our contact information. I'm Wei. I'm glad to share the speech and NLP paper reading with you, and see you next week.